Production functions are a fundamental tool for economic analysis, and these describe the relationship between different input factors, such as labor, such as capital, raw materials, and the output, or the eventual product or service. And understanding these production functions helps managers to optimize production levels, which increases efficiency and ultimately profitability. And one key principle within production functions is the so-called Law of Diminishing Returns. Before I provide the definition, let's look at this following example. Let's imagine a factory where there is one worker for one machine, but the manager in charge of this factory is considering adding more workers because that will essentially make production more efficient. In other words, the manager believes that the total capacity of the machine is not being fully used with only one worker. So the manager thinks of adding another worker. Now there are two workers for each machine. And you can see how here on the left, the output is now rising. And here at the bottom, we see that the input is increasing as well. Now, if we add one more worker, we reach somewhat of a critical point, and this is the so-called Law of Diminishing Returns. This is the area of diminishing returns where adding one more worker will not increase efficiency and output, as we can see here. So here we have 4 workers and 1 machine. Essentially here, the capacity of the machine is being fully used, but it's not being used efficiently. You can see how, for instance, these workers will essentially be in each other's way, thereby decreasing the productivity. So this is the law of diminishing returns. There's a certain threshold, if you will, where you reach the point of maximum yield. This is the optimal production level right here. So in this case, 3 workers for 1 machine is the optimal production levels. Whereas if you add 1 more worker, the production will essentially decrease. So the definition is that as additional units, in this case workers, are added to the input, eventually increases in output will decrease, as you can see here. Here it increases once we start adding more workers, and here it decreases once we start adding even more workers. In other words, there is an optimal point, or the point of maximum yield, or the point of maximal returns. And this is a very convenient tool for managers because it allows managers to see how many resources, in this case workers, should be allocated to the production process.